Today we're going to be reacting to the 4 brand new Signet Rings on Age of Empires Mobile. Yes, you heard correctly, because we've got 4 new rings coming to the game, and I did leak 2 of these earlier on in the month for you guys, and it was really interesting to see some of your guesses, and you guys will see if my guess was correct with these rings, because we've got the Sage of Judgment, we've got the Celestial Spark as the 2 that we knew of, but then we get access to the Divine Warrior and the Radiant Thunder. And I want a big shout out before we go any further with any of these reactions to Neptuna. Neptuna in Kingdom 8 was the one that provided all of the images that you're about to see in today's video on the Age of Empires Mobile public Discord, so you guys can technically search the name and find it as well and check it out for yourselves. Because the thing is, if you try to check these out on the global server, say if you're on Empire 64 like me, or 40, 100, you name it, you're not going to get access to them. You won't be able to see these because it's only available to Kingdoms 1 to 10, I believe, that are the beta servers in the game. However, these rings are all crazy, and we're going to be going through Sage of Judgment first, because this is arguably what I'm going to call the safest ring and the #1 ring out of all of them, because it is the jack of all trade rings that we, yes, we, me, and you guys technically guessed correctly, which is Mehmed's signature skill on a ring, which is kind of nuts. Every 6 seconds, because it's a turn-based skill, you reduce your troops' damage taken by 4.75% at level 1, which maxes out at 25% for 3 seconds, and then after 3 seconds, you recover your units, and this is at 15.2% at level 1, but 80% at max level, and this goes up with your might bonus too, so the higher might you are, the more recovery effect you're gonna get. Absolutely crazy. And as you've guessed it, like the recommendations are saying down at the bottom there, you can put this ring on anyone, because this ring is happening turn 1. It's gonna be triggering, reducing that initial fight that you're gonna be in quite considerably. The fact that you're taking 25% less damage for the first 3 seconds, letting your heroes to get around, you know, to that first skill rotation, hopefully bang off on the next one, right? It's going to give you a better trade. On top of this, if you guys have read it and noticed it, and I know normally I don't mention it, but it's very important for this ring, the troop skill damage reduction. You get a 10.8% troop skill damage reduction specifically, meaning with that, you're reducing the skill damage by 10.8 and 25% on top, which is kind of disgusting, if you ask me, that you're reducing skill damage specifically basically by around 35%, then obviously everything else is reduced by 25%. But absolutely crazy. And the fact that this is just a turn-based skill, you can put this on any support in the game, which is just, again, nuts. It's a no-brainer for me. I think you guys can actually see how excited and why I am telling you it's a no-brainer just from the explanation, right? You can see it's literally recommending this on Mehmed, Timur, Zuliang, that's a tactician hero. We've got Mansa, we've got Tamiris from the Marshals, we've got Bushra, we've got the Samurai, we've got Dido. It is literally that one ring you're gonna get just like the Tranquil Water was, and put it on any march. And as soon as you put it on that march, you're going to get benefited out of it. So definitely do not sleep on this ring. I think this is one of the best rings out of the 4, if not the best ring out of the 4. However, let's move on to the next ring, because the next 2 rings are very interesting. And the first one here, as many people will say in the comment section, yes, Celestial Spark is for pikemen. It is a pikeman-based ring. It is a passive-based skill, which is an activation chance of 100%, so it's always on. And you increase the might damage dealt by your 2 heroes with the highest might by 20%. And that is very important, as you'll get to see in a moment. You also reduce your troops' damage taken by 10%, and that is at max level. And at first, I know what you're thinking, yeah, it's a warrior pikeman. Put it on Mansa, your Cyrus and your Vladimir is going to do more damage. Put it on Mansa again, your Cyrus Boudica is going to do more damage, right? Whatever hero you put it on, the other two are basically going to do more damage because the other two heroes are DPS, while obviously Mansa is more of a support. He's not really there to do insane damage. He doesn't have as high of a might as the other two, right? But again, if we read this correctly, increase the might damage dealt by your two heroes with the highest might by 20%. What this means is, as a passive on a ring, it works on any might-based march. Any march in the game, that's a warrior march in particular, right, that uses might, it's going to do much better. So just think now, Lagertha. If I put Lagertha with the Celestial Spark, well, she's the second highest might hero, sometimes the first, and then it's Miyamoto or Yode, depending on your spending level and what formation you run, you're going to be running that, right? So no matter what, Lagertha is going to get the buff and Miyamoto will get the buff. Or Lagertha is going to get the buff and Yode will get the buff. So you can kind of see where we're going with this now. 20% extra damage on top of them two doing their thing, and you reduce 10% damage taken. Do we need anything else? 10% troop damage, defense, and health all given in this one map. Really good ring. I actually think from people going to do some testing, including myself, I'll do some testing on this Celestial Spark and stuff. I think this is going to be a jack of all trades ring again, but mainly for might users. And that's why I would say Sage of Judgment is better, because you can use this on any march and they're going to be happy with the reduction and the recovery. But if you're a warrior pikeman, warrior infantry, maybe even warrior archers, who knows, right? Because you can put this on Mehmed and increase your Mulan and Bellevue's damage, right? There's a lot of interesting combinations we could try out with the Celestial Spark and see if it is really worth unlocking and using in multiple formations, or is it sadly going to be a pikeman only ring? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, because again, I'd love to hear your theory crafting about the Celestial Spark, especially after listening to my, thoughts on it. I do think it's a great ring though. I do think it's a great ring. Now let's move on though to the next ring. The next ring is a infantry or an active skill-based user's wet dream. Literally, this is what you guys have been waiting for, because you're getting troop damage, troop attack, and troop defense for your kind of stats. It is what it is, kind of cool. But you reduce your secondary strike skill damage by 50%. Well, guess what? We're infantry. We don't fucking deal that damage. We do active skills. We're doing something else, right? So by doing that little sacrifice, you increase the active skill damage of your other two heroes in the troop by 4.75% at level 1, but this goes up to 25% at max level. And then you also increase the activation chance of customizable active skills by 2.5%. So imagine in a world, and we like dreaming in this world, that you ran Divine Warrior on Tribuana. Well, Tribuana doesn't really care about getting this buff because she's just trying to buff other people, right? So now, again, Lagertha Miyamoto or Lagertha and Yode, right? Any of these combinations that you're going to be running, they will get a 25% active skill damage buff, and their customizable skills will have potentially a little bit more consistency to either deal more damage or to stack might even quicker, or to get their activation chances even higher, right? There's ways of making this obviously make your match just more robust and consistent. And that is kind of disgusting when you think about the last ring. Because imagine if you did put Celestial Spark on Lagertha and we put our Divine Warrior on Tribuana. That is two super expensive rings, don't get me wrong. But those are two crazy effects, right? That we're increasing active skill damage purposely, that one line of text by 25%, but we're also increasing the might damage dealt by 20%. which is on top, right? This is a flat buff across all might damage, while the other one is specifically for active. So I think this could be disgusting together, and this just showcases what the new rings potential really are. And the crazy thing about these 3 rings, right, so far that we've seen, as you'll notice, you could potentially be using this on other marchers. Yes, we've talked about warrior infantry quite heavily, especially for the divine warrior side of things. But again, you guys are probably typing it in the comment section without even watching it, the video. What about Ramses? What about Sun Tzu? What about these other heroes, right? Because this is also going to increase their active skill damage by 25% and increase the activation of their customizable active skills as well, making them fire off harder and more consistent. So again, this ring, because it is specifically saying active skills and it doesn't state might or strategy, is quite open-ended for infantry users specifically, and maybe, there's the one martial cavalry hero that has active skills. You get what I'm saying? Maybe active skill users too, but for infantry, we like it. We give it a round of applause, right? We give it a round of applause there for the devs. So far, as you can see, all 3 rings that I've gone through so far, really, really powerful. Divine Warrior, the Celestial Spark, and then the Sage of Judgment. So the last ring to showcase is a ring that I guessed actually correctly, and it wasn't a ring for the Celestial Spark, but the effect of that ring is what I guessed, which is, if we look at it, the Radiant Thunder. And this is after a normal attack, you deal strategy damage to the enemy troop, which is 280% at max level. And this has got a strategy bonus, so you do want to put it on tactician heroes, and you increase the activation chance of your commander's signature secondary strike skills by 5%. So yes, I guess this ring correct. I'm a Time Lord. I do apologize. I'm from the future, right? But this ring is being needed. This ring has been needed, and people that play Hannibal marches and obviously Belisarius marches have been waiting and waiting and waiting for this ring. And it is the perfect ring for you, because you can equip this ring to your Ashoka, your Elizabeth, your Justinian, maybe even your Cleo. Because whoever you equip it to, your commander damage is getting increased by 10.8% because of the base attributes, but you're also increasing the commander's signature secondary strike skill by 5%. So you got to think now for your Belisarius, he's going to get his triggers more often, meaning his actual skill, that's every 3 at 3 stars, or if you've got him every 2 at 3 stars, shall I say, you're going to get that extra skill activation from your customizable. Look, this is going to be a nice bit of consistency that we've been missing out on. And like I said, this is a secondary strike skill ring, and even the active is a secondary strike skill active. So if you look at the activation chance being 25%, that should give it kind of an eye-opening, and I like it. I like, honestly, all 4 rings, and I do hope in the future, and I might be alone thinking like this, but I do hope in the future when we see these signet rings get added in, we see more, and I actually see more epic ones, right? Because the thing is, rings and signet rings in particular are really good ways for the dev team to add in a way to counter the current meta. So people obviously complaining about Lubu and complaining about certain marches. Well, you can introduce a signet ring that might specifically say reduce your critical strike damage taken by so much, which would absolutely butcher any time, obviously, the good old Lubu crits and hits you for all of your health bar, right? And this is why I like signet rings over heroes getting introduced so fast, because you're never pressured into trying to get the newest signet ring. You're really not. You're always looking at signet rings as, okay, is this going to answer the current problem that I'm in? And if it does, great. If it doesn't, I don't need to worry about it for my account, which I think is fantastic. It should be something that should be promoted more often, right? So all 4 rings are great, right? All 4 rings are great. And if you want my priority, obviously, if you're a Hannibal or Belisarius player, obviously Radiant Thunder is probably going to be your #1 priority. But for everyone else, I am going to tell you now, Sage of the Judgment, I would consider the #1 pick. The fact that you're getting a 25% damage reduction every 6 seconds, and you're healing after every 3 on top is just king. You can put this on your archers, you can put this on your infantry, you can put this on your pikemen, you can put this on any march in the fucking game, guys. And you're going to be cooking. You're going to be cooking because it's basically a Tranquil Water 2.0, right? It's basically an absolutely beast of an open field survival ring. Now, this is where things are going to get really interesting. Celestial Spark and Divine Warrior. Obviously, for infantry players, Divine Warrior seems to be a definite upgrade compared to Skyward Knight. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It really does. And it's a bit upsetting that it's there. However, you got to think in the future, if you are running warrior infantry and tactical infantry, well, we can Skyward Knight Charlemagne and we can Divine Warrior our Tribuana. You get what I'm saying? You get that option now, and you get that ability to explore and have a bit of fun with double march setups of 1 troop type, which is absolutely fantastic. But is this going to be the #1 pick for you? I wouldn't say so. I would still pick the Sage over this ring, and I would personally wait. I would wait for this ring and the Celestial Spark to do some tests. Just be patient. Let people like Sagami, who might have access to these sooner than everyone, as well as Blaine and maybe myself, if we get access to the Pioneer server a bit sooner too, we can test these Signet Rings out, and we can have a good go at checking, is the Celestial Spark here really good for Warrior Pikemen only, or is this passive effect a little bit too broken and available for Warrior Infantry, Warrior Archers, and for Warrior Cavalry in the future too, because being a might-based ring and increasing the might-based damage of your 2 highest heroes with the highest might, right? So absolutely fucking love these rings. Honestly, you can see I am buzzing about them, and it really does make you think about viabilities and what potential ring shifts could be occurring now in the distant future. So if you've enjoyed today's video and you've enjoyed all of the ring information, and obviously it's been on screen for you guys, smash a like, comment, and subscribe. Obviously, it is massively helping us grow the channel, and I want to say thank you to all of you guys that have been hitting that subscribe button. It is crazy to see the support, and obviously, I will constantly keep uploading a video every weekday for you guys for Age of Empires Mobile, because obviously, I still love and enjoy the game, even if sometimes, you know, we've got our little disputes in the game. So, with that, stay safe, guys. Stay sneaky. Peace out.